The holidays are around the corner, and that means that more than likely you're going to be spending a lot more money than usual. So last week I made a video all about how I plan for the holidays starting in October. And some of those things on my list usually include some type of Halloween activity or fall activity or Christmas activity that is outside the normal, Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day, and trick-or-treating. And this is so that all of the festivities aren't necessarily focusing on one specific day. I like to kind of spread out the holiday season throughout the entire 3 months. But obviously, the more places you go and the more things you do, the more money you spend. So in order to help you and myself out, I wanted to combine a list of things that we can do on a budget. So some, if not all, are pretty kid-friendly because I myself have a child. And some of these can also depend on the age of your child. Obviously, if they're on the younger side, they might not be able to do all of the things, but maybe if they're older, they can definitely join you. If you are new to my channel, hi, welcome. My name is Lisbeth, and I make videos that help you plan for a better financial future while living your best life today. So if that sounds like something that interests you, then don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss out on new weekly videos. So after scouring the internet and Pinterest, I came up with my top 10 budget-friendly activities that you can do this holiday season. Let's get started. I'm going to go in order of festivities, starting with like Halloween stuff, fall and Thanksgiving, and then finally some Christmas stuff, just to kind of give you an idea of how this is going to go. So the number one thing I have is Halloween based, which is to find a local mall, which I've found that every mall pretty much does this, and go trick-or-treating at the mall. I also know that some cities or little towns put together some kind of trick-or-treating event as well in the area. So I was able to do both last year. I went to the mall and took my daughter with her costume and kind of went around the different stores, and she was able to trick-or-treat. It was nice to not have to do this outside in the dark, when it was past her bedtime. So I'm glad that I was able to take advantage of that. And there was also another activity, I believe it was the weekend before Halloween. We were able to take my best friend and I, take our kids to a little town center and have them go around different booths and ask for candy there. So both of those things were completely free. I think my daughter and I might have had Chick-fil-A at the mall to kind of, end the night, but it was really fun and totally worth going there after work to make it happen. Number 2 is to go picking. So normally you hear apple picking, there's also flower picking and strawberry picking. I'm not sure if it's called pumpkin picking if you go to the pumpkin patch, but that's pretty much, you're picking out a pumpkin. So I'm gonna put that in the same category. So yeah, so go some kind of picking. It doesn't have to be all of them, just choose one. And I'm sure that you can find different places that offer whatever it is that you want to go picking for. And then number 3 would be to bake something with whatever you pick. There are plenty of recipes for you to choose from scones and muffins and pies and caramel apples. I mean, you can find plenty on Pinterest, trust me. So choose whatever it is that you want to pick based on fruit or based on price of what they would charge you to go picking at one of those places, and then come back and you're able to have something to actually make some holiday goodies with. Obviously if you have kids, put them into the fun. My daughter loves helping me mix things together and crack the eggs. So it's definitely one of those things that takes a little bit longer because you're baking with kids, but it's totally worth it once they kind of see the final product. Along with making and creating things, number 4 is to make some crafts. Whether that means carving a pumpkin for Halloween or creating a fall wreath or making Christmas ornaments. Crafts are always fun for kids, any kind of, putting things together. And at the end of the day, it's all about spending that time together, not necessarily how good the wreath comes out. Number 5 is to find a community fall festival. Now, I'm seeing these more and more. There's always a school or a church, or in my case, my daycare, who throws some kind of fall festival. So I'm sure you can find one in your area that offers it. It might be a very minimal price, or you pay per activity or whatever. And that way you can just kind of take a few hours to go, and not only are you supporting your community, but you're also getting it relatively cheap. Number 6 is to decorate for the holidays. So whether it is Halloween or Thanksgiving, fall, or then Christmas time, taking that time to really decorate as a family as opposed to you yourself. I know that I like to decorate for the holidays and I like it to look a specific way, but I've tried to step back a little bit and kind of involve my toddler with me, and I feel like if we do it together, she's super proud of the work that she puts in, and even though it does not look perfect, the fact that we spent the time to do it together definitely makes it a whole day activity. Also, you can use some of the crafts that you made to incorporate into your decorations. Number 7 is to do a potluck get together. So call this some kind of Friendsgiving, or maybe you just get your girlfriends to come together and somebody brings one thing, and make it kind of like a game night if you want as well. But the point is that in order for you to not spend completely out of pocket, you can offer to host at your place and maybe make one thing and then have your friends bring something else and have a potluck together. You get to gather people together and you get to not be responsible for paying the entire thing. Number 8 is kind of one of my favorite things to do during like Christmas time and stuff. It's to go find different Christmas lights. Now, I've gone through the paid ones where you go through the trail of lights and all that stuff, and those are great if you can afford it and if you can splurge on it, obviously. But if you don't want to spend the money on that, there are plenty of houses who decorate super pretty and like, you know, full on, like go all out for the lights. So I'm sure you can find some around your area. Also, there's always like town centers or like, you know, big shopping centers that make really pretty displays of lights. So you can go and kind of take a night and check different ones out. I know last year we just, you know, grabbed a hot drink and walked around and saw all the lights. The lights were really pretty and we didn't have to pay anything besides the coffee that we got. So that was a real treat. So you might have to look around or search online for some areas around you that are, you know, that have really pretty displays. But once you find them, all it will cost you is the drive there and then maybe some hot chocolate. Number 9 is to volunteer, which is completely free and definitely correlates to the holiday season. So if you can and you're able, of course, go out and volunteer your time. With it being the holidays and everybody being so busy, I think that's one of the times that they could really use people to go and help. But if you're like me and work full time and have a toddler, finding the time to volunteer gets a little tricky. So what I'm doing this year for my number 10 are random acts of kindness. So my goal is for November to do 30 different random acts of kindness. Not necessarily one each day because that could get very tricky, but do a total of 30 and kind of break it down by when I'm able to get some of them done. I'll have my list done hopefully by October, and that way I'm able to start come the first day of November. And even if it trails on to December, it's still all part of the holidays, and my goal is to do 30 within the next 3 months. So obviously random acts of kindness do not have to be expensive. There are so many different ideas on Pinterest. There's one particular person I follow on Instagram who was kind of the inspiration for this, and she did 30 random acts of kindness before she turned 30. So she has a lot of great ideas as well. But yeah, I thought that was a super cool idea, and the fact that the holidays is about giving back, I think this is a perfect way to kind of involve my toddler with me and have her be able to go out there with me and do these random acts of kindness. So there you have it, my 10 budget-friendly holiday activities that are on my list, and hopefully you got some ideas or inspiration for your holiday activity list. Now the real ask here is if you have any other budget-friendly holiday activities, leave me a comment down below so that I can see it and everybody else can get more ideas, and we'll just kind of help each other out to make sure that we don't overspend this holiday season. Now with the holidays around the corner and all that gift giving that you have to do, you have to check out my How I Budget for Gifts video, because it will give you a really good idea of how much you should probably be spending or how to kind of organize your holiday gift giving list. I'll put that video up in the cards and leave it linked for you down below as well. If you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach me outside of YouTube through my Instagram or Facebook, or you can also leave me a comment down below if you prefer. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to y'all next time. Bye guys.